Raiders entered the game as the only of the renters. They're renting, you know.
I'm rubbing off on you. I'm rubbing off on you.
I've always been this way. Maybe I'm rubbing off on you.
Oh, yeah, baby. What's up? It's Monday. It is Week 8 recap podcast. Ahmed Fareed here. Chris Sims here. What's up, everybody? Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Under Armour. How you doing, dude? You good?
Good.
Yeah?
Good, yeah.
Got your English straight? Good?
Renters. They're renting.
Better watch out for those
Who knows
renters.
where they're going to move next?
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, got you. You're looking good today, man.
You too?
Know? Yep, you got your red pants on. I'm always happy about that.
Red
Makes
pants,
you raise
Steph
my
Curry's,
level.
Steph
Boom.
Curry's as well. Have you gotten your shoes yet
no,
from
I have
Under
not.
Armour? Wow.
Nope. Apparently, they have not come yet.
At this point, they're making a statement.
Maybe they are. They may be like, screw that guy. We came here to show off Ahmed Fareed.
Yeah.
Right.
The first couple of weeks, it's like, all right, you can see how that could happen, right?
Sure,
you got bigger shoes. Maybe they're out of those size supply chain issues, right?
Right.
But now they're sending a message to you.
Personal.
It's getting personal.
How dare you? No, it's not.
No, we
I
still
don't know
love
what
them.
the issue is.
We
do.
Hey, you know how you get through it?
Yeah.
You go through.
The only
way is through.
That's
how you get through it.
The only way is through it. No doubt about it.
So a lot to talk about. I
Yeah.
mean, like we always have a lot to talk about on Monday, right? Because we go through every game, and that's our personal pledge to you, the homies. But it seems like that more happened this week than last week. Last week was kind of a blowout week. A lot of the results were what you expected. This week we had some unexpected results, some unexpected performances from quarterbacks.
Games that come down to the end.
But it was before we get into all that, it was Halloween weekend this past weekend. My two kids were a unicorn and a firefighter.
Wow.
So I think that's was
nice.
Good, solid choices by them.
Good ones.
What was the Sims family?
So let's see. I don't know. It changed a little bit. You know, I got a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old. My little boy was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
He wore
it. It's the first year he's been Michael Jordan?
It's the first year he's been Michael Jordan. He had the Jordan jersey, some Bulls shorts, some wristbands that were Jordan.
Yeah.
He put on some Jordan sneakers.
Was he like, I want to be this old-timey basketball player? Is that what he said?
I'm actually shocked by it. I'm shocked by it because he totally is always trying to go on the LeBron's better than Michael. You're crazy, Dad. He's always trying to bring that up, right?
Yeah.
So I've kind of trying to been slowly hey, Philip, nobody loves LeBron more than me. I love LeBron.
Yes.
He's not better than Michael Jordan. I'm sorry. He's very close, but he's not better.
So was this his way of being like, all right, Dad, I hear you?
Probably not. It's probably last second. My little girl was Michael Myers.
You just had a 23.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Michael Myers.
Michael Myers from Halloween, right? You've seen that movie before?
I have
no,
not
you've
really
never
seen it, but
you
I'm
know
familiar
of it.
with the
Yeah,
character,
okay, good. You're familiar with it. But then, something happened yesterday where, I don't know, one of her friends' costume didn't come.
Yeah.
So they ended up doing, I don't even know what their theme was. They wore long button-down shirts and a tie. They were frat boys, I think, something like that. I don't know.
See, kids these days.
These days.
We had it in order back when
But
we
she
were
also
kids.
got on her horse yesterday for horseback riding and was Sid the Sloth from, Shrek.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's not Shrek. It's Ice Age. Way to go, Pete. See, Pete's kids are young. He's still up on that.
Yep.
And she put on her horse a tusk and a trunk.
Oh, so the horse was part of the costume.
Part of the costume for her lessons yesterday.
She had
three things she went to this weekend.
That
Yes.
sounds like something that would happen now. It's
don't
Dad,
know.
you can't just have one costume. That's embarrassing.
So she had one for her horse.
Gotta
and
have one for the horse,
A
and one-
family party and one for her friends. So that's what she did.
That does sound like something that would
Yes,
happen now.
very
Yeah,
much.
That's good. I like that, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very creative. And you did it also on Football Night in America. You were on that show.
I was,
yes,
I was on
every
that
week.
show, yes.
And I think we have a little preview of some people that wanted to be you guys.
For
Halloween.
We did. We had some great costumes.
Kristen, can we play that before we get into our breakdowns here?
What? They gave me a Brady jersey and just put a 1 over it, huh? That's what happened?
No name.
No name, exactly.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
there's
that
Maria
was
Taylor.
awesome.
So
It
if you
was well
couldn't
done.
see that, they had a little kid, blonde-haired kid,
Right.
short,
Yeah.
very short.
Yeah,
you were
right,
not that
right.
short ever
Yeah.
in your life, even when you were born. But it was a Tom Brady jersey, but they put tape over the one. They put tape over Brady, wrote in Sims
Yes,
there. So they
well
couldn't,
done.
They couldn't find a Sims.
They couldn't find
apparently,
them.
in
Yep.
Tampa.
Apparently, there was no more online to be had.
Which is
All
good. It means
4
you're-
were sold out.
You're sold out.
Yeah,
That's good.
And I
That's
have
a
2 of
positive
them,
thing.
so at my house.
So you guys had
that was great, though.
You guys had a whole lot of fun. And You had a lot of fun breaking down the game. So let's get to it because
all right, let's do it.
We start with the ones that have more storylines, and the first game had a lot of storylines within the game, but also the biggest storyline now as we enter this next week. Tennessee gets the victory over Indianapolis. It was 34-31 overtime game, back and forth. A lot to talk about, but we do start with the breaking news here. Derrick Henry potentially out for the season with a Jones fracture that would require surgery. Now, we don't know exactly. I mean, by the time you're listening to this, you might know more than we do right now.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to assume, and I think we'll do for the purposes of this discussion, that he's going to be out a long time, perhaps the whole season.
I would think so. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, again, I got to refresh my memory on the Jones fracture.
Yeah.
You know, I know Liz Frank. I know Jones one. I need somebody to refresh me on it exactly. But either way, yeah. I mean, when you're playing running back, of course, feet are pretty important, and you know, it's a lot of pressure on that part of your foot to think that, like, oh yeah, he'll be back for a playoff run 2 months from now, basically. We're talking about 2 months. The playoffs are starting in a little over 2 months.
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time thinking. Maybe he does get back for it, but I just can't imagine him ever being like the same guy. But yeah, I would think that's season-ending type of injury and a huge blow to the Titans.
The strange thing is that early in the game when it was 14-0 Indianapolis, they showed him on the sideline.
Right.
He was kind of limping around.
Right.
But he played the rest of the game, and what did he end up with? 28 carries? And so it was a little strange because it was like, all right, whatever it was, apparently it's not that big of a deal.
Well, this is the thing in the NFL, and I think this is what leads to a lot more severity in injuries a lot of times. And I know I've had this conversation. I don't know if I've had it with you, but that to me is, you know, when I see stuff like that, I always go, well, there's the Toradol effect, right? Almost everybody in football gets Toradol the night before the game or the morning before the game. So you get injuries like that, and you're like, my foot feels funny, but you're numb. Your nervous system is numb. It's Toradol. It shuts all feeling off. Right? So they're like, oh, it feels a little funny, but I think I could play. I think I can go. And then what happens is, as it slowly starts to wear off throughout the day, whether it's last night or you wake up the next morning, that's when I can't tell you how many teammates I had or people I played with who we go game over, let's go get some food and have a drink, and they're going, oh, my shoulder's a little sore, but I'll be all right. And then they wake up the next morning and they're like, oh, my shoulder's really fucked up, I can't do anything. Like, what the happened? And it's just because of it's that aspect to me. It's something that we talk about a lot as players, but that would be my take on that. Sorry to ramble there a little.
A Jones fracture refers to a break between the base and the shaft of the fifth metatarsal bone of the foot. So it's on the outside of the foot.
Outside foot, like not a good spot.
No.
A lot of pressure going to be put there. You have to, of course, cut and do everything else. And, of course, he's a power runner who runs through the scrum and has people hanging on him a lot, too. So, big guy with that injury, his position, what they ask him to do, I'd have a hard time thinking he's coming back. And, listen, this is a game changer. Yeah. It's a game changer in the AFC. The Titans are like one of the few teams we're getting down to here just before we get into the game a little bit where I go, like, they're one of the few teams in the AFC I don't have a ton of questions about. They're kind of going and they're trending in the right direction in all areas. You're kind of going, man, their defense is kind of getting it. You know, they make plays. They're not giving up too many plays. Of course, the offense, they have really seemed to have found their way since that Jets loss a few weeks ago. And they were one of the teams I was looking at to go, man, Tennessee might be kind of rounded into Super Bowl form here. But, of course, now I don't think that. If he's gone, that changes the outlook of their team completely.
So before we talk about potential replacements for him, there's going to be talk that this was inevitable because of his usage and how much they were using him. He had 219 carries this season. That would have ranked 9th in the NFL all of last season. We're talking midway through the year, not even to that
He's
point.
On pace for all-time carries, right?
Yep. NFL record for carries in the season, 416 by Larry Johnson. He had that in 2006. Henry was on pace for 465. Of course, he got the extra game, but even without that, he would have gotten 438.
Right.
So was this overuse?
Well, I'm not going to say it's over. Listen, this guy's the ultimate bell cow, and I don't think he shows signs of being overused. I think that's the problem with him a little bit. And, you know, I know we've discussed a little bit before, even though he's a power runner between the tackles, he's got a unique way of not being too much of a car crash runner. You know, whether it's just kind of, you know, sneaking through the line and, people hit him and tackle him, but it's not like, oh, shoulders down, I'm full speed, I'm going to lower my head right in the hole with linebackers. That's not what he does a lot. So I think he does a good job of kind of limiting the abuse his body takes, even though he takes a lot of carries. But this is the risk of when you start to do that many times. Of course, yeah, and especially with them and running between the tackles so much as they do, people falling on your feet. You're in the scrum a lot, and it just increases the chances of something like this happening. I don't think it's inevitable. I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and look at it and go, well, if they just gave it to him 8 less carries a game, he wouldn't have had this.
Sure.
No, I don't. I think this is just unfortunate. When you carry the ball this many times, you're going to have some bad shit happen to you.
Pete notes here that he has not had a serious injury since breaking his foot in April before his freshman year at Alabama. So it's been a long time for Derrick.
Show.
The only thing about the overuse that I'll say is that it seems like in the past few years, which has worked really well for them, is they have relied more heavily on him as the season has gone on. It's like he's really gotten into gear when the weather's gotten colder, December, then into the playoffs. And so if they were planning on doing that again, you might want to put him on a little bit more of a pitch count early in the year.
Right.
You know, he just might not have been the same Derrick Henry after all these carries. Like, not even like getting injured. It's like he just might be worn down if you want to try to do that again.
That's a fair point. I'm not going to argue that. There's no doubt.
So here's the question: Is he the most irreplaceable non-quarterback in the NFL? Like, if you're the Tennessee Titans, are you now having to replace a guy who is the most irreplaceable?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great question. I think
non-quarterback.
Non-quarterback. Right. I got you all the way here. I mean, I think right off the bat, I think of course, Aaron Donald. I look at T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett to be in this conversation. Derrick Henry certainly in the conversation. We know that. Let's see. Anybody else in the?
You know, it's funny. We were talking. We were talking with our guys from...
Pete says Tyreek Hill. He is very important to what they do. There's no doubt about that. But I think you could. I think I would probably say him and Aaron Donald. I would say yes. Mm-hmm. Those two guys get hurt. It changes their team. The Rams have the luxury of a guy that they can just do so many different things with. He's such a mismatch that it changes the outlook for their whole defense. It's the same for Derrick Henry. Again, just think about what you see from Tennessee every week. Think about what you saw yesterday. It's run the ball. Oh, they stopped the run. Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, A.J. Brown.
Yeah, right. And what are they going to do off of that? It's going to be play, action, pass,
totally.
Right? All right. I mean, that's how they play. So when you look at it, he just dictates the style of their football team.
Yep.
So that's where, I'd probably say he is the most irreplaceable player in football. Like I said, him and Donald are the top two on the list.
Yeah, you do wonder how moving forward it affects Ryan Tannehill now, how it affects A.J. Brown moving forward.
Yeah. I have not seen great passing offense from Tennessee this year.
Yeah.
Not like stand alone. You know, the last few years, not that I was blown away by what they did with Arthur Smith in the drop back pass game, but it was good enough to where I went, if they can't run the ball, their drop back pass game is good enough. You know, under Todd Downing, I can't lie, I'll say I've wanted more. But they've gotten away with it because their defense has been better. They've run the ball, of course. They stay patient with it, which is the best thing they do. And then that allows the play-action pass to happen. But, now this is going to put the spotlight in some other areas. And, they're so A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry-centric. Yeah. That's where you go, okay, now, all right, Julio, hopefully he gets healthy here soon. But who are going to be some of the other guys on this offense that really help them out?
Yeah, those are the two guys since 2019 when A.J. Brown got into the league. A.J. Brown now has 7 career 50-plus yard touchdowns. The only player with more is Derrick Henry with 8 in that time that A.J. Brown has been in the league. So those
A.J. Brown's built like a running back.
Guys, and without one, it might affect the other one for sure. Yeah. Now, it's interesting when we talk to our friends at PointsBet Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of NBC Sports, about what players move lines. They were talking about, this was a couple weeks ago, Dalvin Cook.
Sure.
And when he's out of the game for Minnesota, how much does the line move?
Right.
And they said not at all, because Alexander Madison's a good replacement. They don't really lose a whole bunch, and maybe they don't lose anything at all, because they said they don't change the line of that game at all if Dalvin Cook is out. I think it's a little different now with Tennessee because
100%.
Jeremy McNichols, the only other running back on the active roster. News coming out that Adrian Peterson is going to go to Nashville, have a workout there. So replacing Derrick Henry, what about those two names? What pops into your head?
Well, I mean, McNichols is solid. He's
pass catcher.
Got a little thickness to him, to where you can run the ball with him a little bit. But I mean, certainly not the guy where I'd look at and go, to your point what you just said with Minnesota, where I'd go, well, they'll be okay. They got a good backup, and it might not be as good, but it's just going to be slightly less. No. It's going to be less, significantly less. Adrian Peterson, sure, I love that. He's going to run hard. He fits the mantra of what they want to do. Hey, just get the ball, stretch it out to the left, find a hole, and try to squeak through there and, smash it in there. Yes, but, I mean, again, what people don't realize and what's so scary about Derrick Henry, it's two things, in my opinion. One, he is so big and strong that he gets the ball, there's nothing there. I mean, there's nothing there, and he still gets 3 or 4 yards a lot of the time. So you still go, damn, that was a bad play, and it's still 2nd and 6. Look at these fucking guys. Gosh, it's 2nd and 6. We played the play perfect. Or we should have had him tackled for a 2-yard loss, and he still got 1 yard, and it's 2nd and 9. That, to me, of course, is where he's great. But the other is just the fear of God he puts into defenses, because they just know, like, we can't have one play off, or I can't go one play where I'm just going to roll the dice and not think about Derrick Henry in the run game, because he can score in one play. It's very rare that he has a combination like that. Like the combination of great power back of all time and yet great, like, what do I want to say, game changer or, explosive play running back of all time. That to me is where he's special and why he's like a first ballot Hall of Famer as compared to other running backs, because it's like he's got Emmitt Smith, bell cow usage, but like Adrian Peterson in his prime, big play, I can go 70 yards in any minute usage. And that to me is where he's really special and irreplaceable that way.
It's going to be up to the rest of the team to step up. I mean, like all around the board, right? Defensively,
need Julio back.
Julio's got to come back. Yep. Give him another playmaker there, because they're still in the mix here. They're
definitely in the mix.
I mean, even without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They're still a playoff team potentially.
Find ways. First thing that came to my head this morning when I saw the news is just like, well, they need to find ways to even put like A.J. Brown into like the Deebo Samuel, formula a little bit. But play him a tailback a little bit. Give him a carry or two. Like do what Cordero Patterson does for the Atlanta Falcons, a similar role. They're going to have to make it up that way. And then, I don't know. We do have the trade deadline tomorrow. They're got to be looking at themselves right now and going, wait, we're a Super Bowl team. We've beaten the Bills and the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs aren't what they used to be, but they got to look at themselves as a Super Bowl team, to where I would think, maybe one of these teams that's a seller here going into tomorrow, ready to get rid of a few guys here and there, right, that they look to make a move for some sort of running back around the NFL. Well,
the story of this game, if this had not happened a day later, would have been, I think, Indianapolis having a chance to win this game, up 14-0 early, and then blowing it, losing in overtime. Carson Wentz, who had protected the ball very well up until
the whole year
game,
for the most part, right?
Fumble last game Sunday night, didn't really hurt him. Throws 2 really bad picks at the end of the game. One on the screen pass that Frank Reich actually has taken the blame for. He said he should have never called a screen that close to the goal line like that, but just a bad play by Carson Wentz to cough it up. Return for a touchdown, brought him back, but then another interception that doomed him in overtime. Jonathan Mark says, self-scout thyself. Carson Wentz, 2 picks in the clutch, not a good look. The second was really poor.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a tale of two halves. Like, first off, the first half of the football game, hey, the Colts are up 14-0. I know they went for it on 4th down a few times in the first drive, I think twice. Ultimately scored in like a 4th and 2 in the goal line. Great. Yeah, but they were having great success. Team was in rhythm. But up 14-0, they went for it on 4th down around in the middle of the field at one point. That's what gave the Titans the short field for a touchdown to go and finally get some momentum, which they had been really struggling. All right, so I just have to mention that in the big aspect of the game. So my big thing there is, I think, again, I know we want to be aggressive, and Frank Reich has got a great feel and everything like that, and he's creative, but up 14-0 around midfield, that would not be the time I would go, okay, wait, we've made a few 4th downs already. At what point does the numbers and the analytics go, you're not going to be 100% today. Maybe we should dial it back now. And we're up 14-0, and their offense hasn't done anything yet. So to me, that was a mistake within the game. All right? There's something different about when the game's 0-0, too, as compared you're up 14-0, and they have been unable to even create any momentum in a positive direction. Well, now you created it for them. They get the touchdown like 10 plays later. Then 2 series later, you have the interception by Taquan Lewis. The game's 14-7. He intercepts the ball in Tennessee territory, tears his ACL or his knee as he's running with the ball. I mean, that's just unfortunate. And then the next play ends up being a play-action out route to A.J. Brown for a 50-something yard touchdown.
Right.
So the game is crazy that way. They had their chances to kind of control the game early and really take Tennessee out of the game as far as we can't rely on the run game, and the play action is going to be dicey after that.
Well, there's one play early on that you're probably going to be overlooked, but they were up 14-0.
Yeah.
They had T.Y. Hilton open in the end zone, and Carson Wentz overthrew it by like a yard.
I remember the play.
Would have been 21-0
Would have
right
been 21-0.
I mean, Tennessee could still come back from that, but more unlikely.
More unlikely. And so that would be, again, I know we talk about this every week, but there's just opportunities to where you can control the game and dictate it and put another team in a spot where they have to get really outside the realm of the way they want to play. But to our questioner's point and all that, the second half got dicey with Wentz. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I know he threw 2 interceptions, but I mean, there was, I would say 2 or 3 other like dicey decisions where you're going, what are you doing? Why are you trying to fit that ball in there? I mean, he kind of reverted back to last year Carson Wentz at one point, locked onto receivers, held the ball too long. The interception down on the screen is just, there's the stupidest play of the day yesterday. Stupidest play of the day. I don't know how you throw that ball. I don't know how you do it. First off, just throw it away. He was here with his right arm, about to throw it sideways at his feet and throw it away, and then held it, pumped twice, and then switched his hand and threw it lefty. Like, that to me was unbelievable. And then to our question, the interception at the end, I mean, again, I'll go back. This goes back. They've had success with these corner routes. That was the kind of route he threw the interception to on Kevin Byard. There was probably 5 of those in the second half where he tried to jam in that same route. And I want to be like, no, Tennessee's smart. They've seen you complete that pass in the first half a few times, and last week and the week before. It's over. Get off of it. So, yeah, bad game by Carson Wentz. Heartbreaking loss for the Colts, who I think, you could sit here and argue and say they probably outplayed Tennessee for more of the game than Tennessee outplayed them, but not in the crucial moments. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, it does seem like there were plenty of opportunities for them to win that game. And who knows, moving forward, they got a good running game. Jonathan Taylor.
They're not out of it.
They're not out of it. They still seem like they're in these games. And who knows what's going to happen with Tennessee now moving forward. And Indianapolis always has the defensive pass interference. They've figured that out. Underthrow the ball deep. And they do it better than everyone else. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Killed it. Right. I mean, even to that, like, that play there, at the end of the game that gets them down to the 1 yard line.
Yes.
Even that was a late decision and a bad throw. I mean, he was open. Like, he underthrew it by 15 yards and threw it like a second and a half late.
You don't think this is a viable strategy moving forward for Indianapolis?
No, I don't.
I think underthrown defensive pass interferences.
I think what it is they're going to take their shots down the field, which I do really respect about them, and make you defend that part of the field and put pressure on you that way. And, of course, that's the ramification of that I always think a lot of offensive coordinators and coaches overlook. Yeah, not only can defenders not play the ball, but they make a lot of pass interference plays. But either way, big win for the Tennessee Titans. Good for them. And, man, it stinks for Derrick Henry. It really does.
All right, so close game there. Tennessee able to pull it off, but losing Derrick Henry for quite some time. Pittsburgh was able to pull off the victory over the Cleveland Browns. Opposite of what happened in the playoffs last year. And I feel like this was kind of the game where it reminded me of growing up when you're playing your dad in pickup basketball.
Right.
And you're better, right? And you're the up-and-coming guy. Right. You're getting stronger. You're young. You're healthy. You're agile.
Right.
And then your dad just somehow figures out a way to win. You go, how did he do that?
He plays with his brains. He knows
old.
How to play the game. He boxed you out.
He's slow.
He took high-percentage shots. You were like, I want to shove it in his face and hit a 3 right in his face and eat it, Dad. Right.
The dad won this game.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger, the Pittsburgh Steelers, won 15-10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, here's what I'm going to go to. And you've heard me say this enough times now. This is Pittsburgh football. 2021, this is their best chance to win games, period. Play through the defense. Hope the defense causes a few turnovers in the football game. Big Ben, don't the game up, and we just need you to make 2 or 3 plays. And if you can do that and just not throw any stupid interceptions, and then we can just run the ball and infuse Najee Harris into a few plays, we're going to be hell to beat. And that, to me, this is the way a lot of the games there should look all year. I mean, that's where I look at it. Defense, the turnovers at the end of the game, pressure in Baker Mayfield, didn't let Cleveland really get off in the run game, had a 4th down stop early on around the midfield. I think that led to their first field goal. I want to say it did. Maybe I'm wrong somewhere in there. But that to me was typical Pittsburgh football. And what they did off of it, too, to me is they took pressure off of Big Ben a little bit, too. Yeah, he threw it 34 times and did some good things, but I thought they kept it simple and they ran the ball with Najee. How many reverses did I see in the game? 4, 5, 6, 7 reverses in the game?
Tried to get the ball in Claypool's
other guys,
hand,
right.
Deontay Johnson.
Let's get them the ball without Big Ben having to make a decision and then yet we can still kind of impose our physicality and still be like, we're running the ball offensive line. Let's keep doing this. To me, this is the way they should play going forward. Great win by them. I didn't know if they could pull it off. Honestly, I thought with Cleveland's defense and their speed and the way Big Ben's been for the most part of the year that he would make 1 or 2 stupid mistakes in this game. But, he really, I think, played within himself. And again, I'm watching a lot of games, but I can't remember a play during the game where I went, oh, man, he got lucky there. Or, whoa, he's flirting with danger. I thought for the most part he played the game pretty true to form.
Right?
He didn't
do
much.
Seem like he
but
can
that's
do
all he's
got
to do. That's all he's got to do. And hopefully they know that and he knows that going forward.
Like you mentioned, they're relying on the running game. 3rd straight game with 100+ rushing yards. 3rd straight win since that 1-3 start for them. And I do give them credit. Najee Harris, 26 carries, 91 yards. I mean, they in the offseason, clearly they saw we want a bell cow running back.
Yeah.
They identified Harris. Everyone and their brother knew that they were going to take him in the first round if he was there, and he was there, and they took him. And now they're game planning, and they're using him. So it's like, give them credit for having conviction in the offseason, thinking of a plan, 100%. And now they're following that plan.
Yes. I think that's exactly right. There's a plan there. They're not going to abandon it. I think Mike Tomlin made it like this is – I think he said that a few weeks ago. He said, this is not the time to abandon plans here. Yeah. Just because we're, at week 4 in the NFL season, it doesn't look pretty. No, they continue to stay forward. They know. Mike Tomlin's too smart to know this is the way they got to play. Mm-hmm. And, between that, few trick plays here and there, my defense, the way they rush the passer, if we're healthy on that side of the ball, you play us man-to-man, Big Ben can still throw the ball and screw you over that way. And then if you do play zones, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run reverses. We're going to throw the check down to Najee Harris and just play ugly Steeler football. They're going to be a pain in the ass to beat if they play that way. I really do believe that. They can make any game versus anybody in the AFC ugly if they could just play clean that way on the offensive side of the ball.
And even with that, it looked like a couple of times that maybe Cleveland was going to be able to push through, get just enough to win this game. I mean, Pittsburgh's playing without Boswell, who got hurt at the end of the first half. So they had no kicker. They could not kick extra points, field goals, and so you really had them in an uncomfortable spot if you're Cleveland. And there's one point in the game, remember this, where Baker was on the sideline. It looked like a late hit. Well, I don't think it was called, right? But he comes running out of there, and everyone's like, oh, he's upset. And then Romo on the broadcast goes, he's not upset. He's happy. And he's like pumping up the crowd, and everyone's like, it seemed like that was a turning point in the game. And then you get 2 plays later, Jarvis Landry catches the ball, fumbles it.
Strip sack. Steelers hustling to the ball, tackling as a team.
And Jarvis Landry had that fumble. He had a couple of key drops
other
in
drops,
this game.
No doubt about it.
So we've talked about them. Odell, and what did Odell have? 1 target in this game? So there are issues in the pass game, and now there are issues with Jarvis Landry in this game too. And so that's concerning for Cleveland in a game where they really couldn't get that running game going like they wanted to.
No, exactly right. Those guys got to come through in a game like that. You're right. Jarvis had, what do you think it was? 3 drops maybe during the game?
Yeah.
Of course, the one at the end of the game and big spots. But, there was a few others too that were like to extend drives on a 3rd and 5 or whatever. Disappointing for them. Disappointing on Cleveland altogether. I don't know what else to say. It's you've heard me say it. It's for this team with all the talent they have to be 4-4. To me, is one of the underwhelming stories of the year as far as just evaluating one squad. But they got an uphill battle going now for sure.
So Dad gets the win. Old man football beats
Steelers.
Cleveland's old man football, and I think it's kind of a similar story with New England, to be quite honest with you. They go and they beat the Chargers in L.A. 27-24, the final score here. So the Pats get back to to 4-4. What'd you say there, Pete? About the
I predicted this score.
You predicted this final score.
I said 27-24. New England was one of the games this week where I looked at and I said, I think this is one of the upsets I'm going to pick for sure. I thought they matched up really well. You saw enough of how the game, New England's got two things going for them, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The O-line and the running game are kind of rounding into form and a little bit closer to what we saw last year. Mac Jones and the passing offense have found a few ways to get a few explosive plays, as compared to early in the year where it was dink and dunk.
Right.
And like to your old dad point, they're not making a lot of mistakes anymore. They were a lot of turnovers, stupid penalties, un-New England type things early on in the year. We're seeing that kind of slow down a little bit.
There were still some in this game. Some holding penalties wiped out some big plays.
Every time they had a big run in the second half, it came back. I mean, Damian Harris must have been like, I should have ran for 200 yards today.
Yeah.
Every time I turned around, I had to walk back to the huddle 40 yards after a 40-yard run because of holding.
I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
They had a fumble in the red zone. So I think that actually is concerning for the Chargers, right? Because you think, like, how was New England going to win this game playing perfect, winning by 3? It's like, well, they didn't play perfect.
No, but they forced the Chargers not to play perfect either.
Well,
so that's
exactly.
what saved them.
And now Justin Herbert's 2 worst passer rating games, completion percentage games of his career have now come against the Patriots. What are they doing against him that's making life so difficult?
Well, I think there's, first off, they match up good. We know how good they are in the secondary. They're so well coached. The Chargers are not a good running football team. So when New England's not as good as I thought they would be at stopping the run. They're good enough to go, wait, we don't have to put too many eggs into that basket to stop this team to slow them down.
Right.
So when you get to a team where the Belichicks can go, okay, it's really like 75-25 pass to run, and we can kind of play that percentage, that's where they're great, right? And that's where they can give you 9 million different coverages and in big situations take away the guy they think you're going to go to. I think it's that aspect, okay? And then the other aspect I think of this is, for 2 weeks in a row, and I kind of said this early in the year, like the offense of the Chargers didn't wow me. I didn't go, oh, my gosh, look at this. This is so creative. This is amazing. I went, they got good players. They run the right plays into the right defenses. I do think you're seeing the NFL catch up to them a little bit right now. And Joe Lombardi, new offensive coordinator, and going, wait, okay, we got enough games now here, and the way we've broken down our games here in our front office and with our, bitch boy guy coaches like I was in New England to start to be able to play like formations, down and distances, they like to do this. When this receiver's in the slot, they like to do that. When this receiver's outside, they do this. That's what starts to happen. And to me, that was one of the things that jumped out to me. Again, I'd have to go back and watch the film, but I just felt like it was one of those games, too, where Justin Herbert dropped back a bunch of times, and he was like, oh, I want to throw it. Wait, he's not open. I want to throw it to him. Oh, he's not open. Mm-hmm. And when I would see replays, it looked like the Patriots were over a lot of their stuff in the pass offense.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Chargers found themselves in 3rd and long situations for a majority of the second half of that game.
That's what I think it was.
3rd and 9
right.
all the time.
Exactly.
So they just couldn't get in manageable situations here.
New England's dangerous. You got to. I mean, don't sleep on them yet.
Well, they're the opposite, right? Because
right.
they have that running game, and you mentioned it as well.
Right.
Since that -1 rushing yard game versus Tampa Bay, they have 120 plus rushing yards in 4 straight games.
There you go.
Saeed Ali says victory lap for the Pats, upsetting the Chargers. That run D for LA was good until it wasn't. Do you think it'll hinder LA in the playoffs?
I do. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not ready to say LA's going to go to the playoffs yet. I'm not ready to say that. Again, they're going to be on the fringe. When you can't stop the run to the capacity they can, they're going to have issues against like 90% of the NFL. What happened yesterday? I mean, listen, Kendrick Bourne doesn't fumble that ball like you talked about, which was that in the red zone or fringe red zone or wherever it was? Yeah. They were driving. I know that to your point.
I don't think he played after that, too.
He probably didn't. You're right. I don't think it did either. The next 2 times Mac Jones dropped back to pass, I was like, I don't see Kendrick Bourne out there. Yeah. I think you're right. He's in the doghouse for a while. But, it's hard to be explosive on offense when the other team's always running the ball, moving the ball down the field, on the field. The Patriots, for my money, and again, maybe I'm wrong, I know I'm watching a lot of different, controlled the pace of that football game, I felt like, throughout. I didn't know if they would win, but I remember just sitting there as the games were going on and watching going, this is exactly how New England wants this game to go right now. It's not a shootout. It's not a lot of big plays in the pass game. They're playing pass defense and going, go ahead, run it. Go ahead, run it. And I know Jackson had that one big run, but they were willing to let that happen. That they didn't want a 70-yard run, but they were willing to go, okay, every now and then you're going to get 5 yards in the run game. So what?
Right.
But you're not going to get Mike Williams 30 down the field, Keenan Allen 25 down the field, Jared Cook 50 down the field. So that's where defense is only going to get better there in New England. Mac Jones is getting better and better and finding ways to make a few good throws every week. And you said it, the run game O-line, when they can do that, New England's going to start playing complementary football. And they're always going to have the right game plan. And we'll see as it goes forward. I know they still got a lot of tough games on their schedule, but they're going to be annoying to whoever they play in football.
Madridista Forever says, victory lap on Mac Jones being underrated just because he didn't look athletic. He has been the best rookie quarterback. Do you agree with that? I mean, Jones has looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't really made, some of the deep passes in this game, but he doesn't have that wow factor.
No,
for
he
sure.
doesn't have the wow.
We never said that he had the wow factor.
Right.
But do you think he's been the best rookie quarterback?
It's hard to argue. Like, I think what I say to people when they ask me on the radio is like, yeah, he does not win the wow factor. Like,
No.
I still look at Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and go, whoa, they've made me say wow a lot, like a lot. But then, I think just from purely being able to handle everyday life in the NFL and manage an offense in a game and be the most consistent with reads and throws, clearly the best. And, I think the other thing, too, is I think his physical ability will show up more and more as he gets more comfortable and doesn't think so much. He's got a lot on his plate. He's got more on his plate than any one of these other quarterbacks.
Maybe he needs less on his plate.
Well, they need to be able to run the fucking ball. I think that's probably why they're about a little bit.
A chef.
Oh, he could use a little less in that department too. But yes, it's hard for me to argue and not say he's been the best rookie QB to this point.
Yeah. He's been good, and he's
it's not
got
sexy.
the job done. Did his job, like Rodney Harrison does.
Didn't make mistakes, and I'd say made 4 or 5 throws where you went, whoa, that changed the field position, and now they're here in scoring position. And they got control of the football game. And the way New England's built, that's the way they're going to play this year, and that's the way they want to play.
Yep, he did very well. He did not get a damn okay, though, because I'm going to reserve that for backup quarterbacks who were very instrumental in the games yesterday. But before we get to that, we want to give some thanks to Under Armour.
Yes, we do.
Do you have your Under Armour script there?
I do.
With
you ready?
Okay, let's
Here
do
we
it.
go.
All right. You begin it.
I begin today? Okay.
Sure, why not?
We are supported by Under Armour.
We are. Just like us, Under Armour wants to give you an edge, Chris.
They are focused on performing better and taking their game to the next level. Very, very much like me and Ahmed. Very much.
We try to. We see what level we're at, and then we try to go one more.
Go one more up. Yeah.
Everything from running shoes that propel you forward to hoop shoes that give you insane grip. They even make hoodies that reflect energy, but they have not sent a hoodie to Chris, and you would wear one of those hoodies.
I definitely would, and I want to know what they mean by reflecting energy. I need to ask that because that just interests me every time.
Yeah.
And then we're not just about the end result at Under Armour, winning or glory.
No, it's about the hard work, the decision, the cycle of training, competing, and recovering, Chris.
The dedication, not the decision. Come on, can you read? Under Armour, he can't read. Fire him.
Yeah.
We give you advantages, but not shortcuts.
Yep. The only way is through. All right, so good. That
was like a B minus.
Word there.
I was an A plus. You were kind of B minus.
Yeah, dedication or decisions. You want to make good decisions as you're going through this.
You do, definitely.
And some teams made good decisions on who to pick as their backup quarterback.
Oh, did they? Is that what they're saying now?
Yep,
is that because this is what I love about football and sports media and sports fans and all.
We all knew it.
The whole week, all I heard in New York. How fucking stupid are the fucking Jets? The fucking Jets are going with this guy, a backup quarterback? The fucking Jets are stupid. I'm talking like my Northeast friends up here. That's all my Jets friends. I mean, what the fuck are they thinking? We got a rookie quarterback? This is our backup this year? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right. Now they want him to be the starter forever and take Joe Namath off the Ring of Honor, and let's put Mike White on there.
Because he is starting this week's edition thanks to Under Armour of Damn Okay.
Damn. I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay. Yeah, no, I mean, yes. I'm okay. The legal gambleizing. Oh, baby. I am Chris Sims. I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay.
All right, so it is Mike White. Damn, okay.
Damn.
First career start, Kristen, I think we have the numbers there. 37 of 45, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have a couple interceptions, so it went a while where he did not have a pass touch the ground. It was either throwing to his own team or the other team, which was quite an accomplishment.
Right.
But over 400 yards, second quarterback since at least 1950 with 400 or more pass yards in his first career game. Cam Newton was the other one. And after the game, Robert Saleh was asked, he's like, hey, could he be the long-term answer at quarterback for you guys? And so Robert Saleh had to answer that question after the game. And what did he say? He goes, we'll go day to day, but anything is possible.
Okay. Well, anything is possible.
What is going on with the Jets? Because he did, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike White in that game looked better than Zach Wilson has in his career so far.
Sure. I'm not going to say he didn't make any throws in the high level of the way Zach Wilson has this year. I didn't look in one throw. If I took Zach Wilson's top 5 throws and Mike White's top 5 throws from yesterday, I would go, no, Zach Wilson's absolutely blow his away. Okay? All right, first off, this is what I want to do more than anything. We got to give the Jets defense some love.
Okay.
I mean, you talked about the stupid fucking interceptions he threw. They only let up 3 points after that. One time they stopped them completely. No, I think the other time they got 7. Okay? Also, another time the Bengals had the ball down 1st and goal, I think on the 6-yard line. They held Cincinnati to a field goal, let alone the interception at the end to set up the short field when they tried to throw the screen to Jamar Chase. So the defense deserves a little credit here. You know, we didn't see Cincinnati go off yesterday like we've seen. They did some good things, but I want to give the defense some credit for giving Mike White and the offense the chance to do what they did. Now, Mike White and company, great job. Really was. Okay?
It seems like there's a...
Well, you know where I'm going with this because you heard me a little bit before the show. Well, this is what I hate about football. This is what I hate about offensive coordinators and teams sometimes. First off, Mike White it was a dink and dunk fest yesterday. Dink and dunk. I didn't even know this, okay? I came in today because I knew we're going to talk about this game, and then, you and Pete are telling me a little bit what the New York sports media is talking about. He's going to be the starter. He's the future. And I want to go, I never really saw him throw any ball. Everything was a dink and dunk. Everything was a check down. Everything. So then of course, Pete, them a little lightus.
He goes, I'll look it up. I'll look up the numbers. And so we did look it up.
Yeah, what was it?
All right, and you were right. We hate to admit this,
because I watch games and I know football, and every throw was fucking short and 4 yards.
So for Mike White in this game, 4.2 average depth of target, the 4th lowest of any starting quarterback in a game this season, behind Jimmy G, Jalen Hurts, and Geno Smith.
So the lowest of the week.
The lowest
of the week. 4th lowest of the year.
Correct.
Okay, what I first want to go is, what was Cincinnati defending? I just saw so many plays where I went, Cincinnati's going down the field like they're playing Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and I'm going, whoa, like what the fuck are you covering like that? Why do we have 7 guys 25 yards down the field? Like, what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, you're getting heckled. You're getting heckled here in your own building.
Yeah. But either way, so he does that, right? And then... but here's my other thing that is my pet peeve.
Yeah.
And anybody that's been listening to my podcast for the last 4 or 5 years, backup quarterback gets in. He's not very good. He doesn't got talent. So we got to find a million ways to do it for him. We got to help him. We got to help him. We got to come up with a million ways because he can't do some of the things Zach Wilson does. Because when Zach Wilson's in there, we just send 2 guys out in a route and say, throw a laser 40 yards down the field. He's talented, so he can do it. So let's not give him any help any other way. But they give that to the backup quarterback. It's a pet peeve of mine that I see constantly. You know that. This is probably at least the 3rd or 4th time in our relationship you've heard me say this.
Yep.
It's annoying. So there they go and come out with a different offensive approach. And I go, well, the whole world and the whole perception around Zach Wilson would be different if you had some of these plays to help him out a little bit. Instead of every play being, hey, play action pass. Hey, Zach, can you throw a 30-yard laser on an out route into tight coverage? And we haven't run the ball that well today. Like, oh, no problem, coach. So that's where I go. And what I want to just say is shut up, everybody. Mike White's not the answer. nor will he ever be. I'm just saying it. I don't mean to disrespect him. It was a great job by him yesterday. Now he solidifies himself as a backup. But, like, the way they won that game yesterday is not realistic, and it will not work in the future, and defenses will start to figure out and go, wait, if we take away the 4-yard dink route, then they're going to have trouble. And I don't know what the took Cincinnati so long to figure that out yesterday, but nonetheless, that to me was more of the thing we should be talking about than anything else.
Yeah, so blame Cincinnati for not covering Michael Carter, perhaps out of the backfield, because he was targeted 14 times in the past game. This is a little victory lap for you because you were very high on Michael Carter.
I love Michael Carter.
Coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
You were higher on him than most other people. You had him ranked ahead as UNC teammate Javonte Williams, where a lot of other people had it the other way around.
Yeah, it is close. Javonte's been impressive.
And Carter went off in this game, though. 77 yards on the ground and 15 carries, the 9 catches in the past game, 95 yards. Do you think that's something that he can do consistently?
This is why I liked him. To me, he translates to the modern-day NFL because of these stats. Now, again, hey, everybody out there who thinks Mike White's the future. Michael Carter, 9 receptions, 95 yards. Now, Michael Carter wasn't going down the field and running 20-yard outs or in cuts, just so everybody knows. He was catching checkdowns or a design play to catch the ball at 4 yards and then run after it. Jamison Crowder, slot receiver. All they do. All he did was run 4- and 5-yard routes, and they threw him the ball. After that, who's the next leading receiver on their list? Ty Johnson. Another running back to throw checkdowns and short passes to? Whoa, okay. And then you have Elijah Moore. And a receiver that finally jumps onto the scene. So that just tells you right there. I mean, again, the game plan, I don't know what Cincinnati was doing, but I'm mad at the Jets coaches to go, what are you doing? I know that Mike White's a little more of a veteran and, of course, can maybe handle a little more offense than a guy like Zach Wilson, a rookie.
Right.
But still, those plays weren't reinventing the wheel. That, to me, just showed a flaw in the Jets' offensive coaching staff to go, you should have already had this infused in your offense, and you wouldn't be sitting here at 1-5 going into the Bengals game. It'd be a different year. So there's my 2 cents about that. You like that?
Full credit to Anthony Rufos, who tweeted us about the whole Mike White versus Zach Wilson controversy and what the New York media is making of that, and also about Michael Carter, who you were very high on. So, Anthony Rufos, thank you for both of those questions, helping us get through this game. One thing on Cincinnati.
What else? So he said he's talking about the New York man. Anything can happen when asked. Okay, I think that's crazy, but what do you think of what do the tea leaves say? I like it, Anthony. You the man. Yeah, yes. Well, I gave you the tea leaves right there in a harsh way.
You make of these
Certainly
tea
wasn't
leaves?
Personal towards you. I hope you know what I was saying there. I think he will.
We've read between them. Last thing on this game, though.
Yeah.
And you might look at the final score and be like, wow, this is a terrible result for Cincinnati. They had so many chances to win this game. They were up by 10 before the half.
Thank you.
They were up by 11 with 7 minutes to go. It's like they should have won that game.
No doubt about it.
I don't quite understand how they didn't when you look back at it. But so I don't think it's one of those like, wow, that was a fall on your face performance for the Bengals. It's like they should have won that game.
They had many opportunities to kind of close it off. You're right, exactly right. Put them away. They didn't. Hey, listen, this is the typical case of one team got their ass whooped and embarrassed, and somebody ran the score up on them. Bill Belichick and the Patriots did to the Jets. So all week, they were on edge. And think about this, too. Cincinnati was puffing out their chest. We beat Baltimore. We're real. I mean, again, it's the NFL. 2 or 3 mistakes, the worst team and the best team in football all of a sudden get real equal. And when you blow opportunities and don't score when you have 1st and goal from the 1, and then have another time with that offense to get 1st and goal on the 6 and only kick field goals in big moments of the game, yes. So the Jets did a good job of taking away some big plays that we've seen from Cincinnati and Jamar Chase, right? We never saw Jamar Chase go off in the game,
first
really.
Time this
right?
year.
And then they made a few plays on the defensive side of the ball. And, I give the Jets a lot of credit, certainly, but like the Mike White conversation, please.
What about the Trevor Siemian conversation? You want to have that? How he is and outdueled the great Tom Brady and is now better than him. So the Saints defeat the Buccaneers.
He's the real GOAT.
36-27. He's now the new real GOAT. He was playing in this game because Jameis Winston unfortunately got hurt, gruesome injury.
Yeah,
I mean it just sucks to see it.
Unfortunate. I
was happy to see after the game though, and I think we have video of it because the Saints are dancing and loving this in the locker room. And there's Jameis Winston.
He ain't going to be too down. That's what I like about Jameis. He's like, screw that. Okay, I got a knee brace on, but I'm still going to have fun with the team.
With crutches. And that right there, I was like, you know what? I really like Jameis Winston.
A lot of people do.
He's got
a lot of people do.
He's got a confident, quirky personality, but clearly part of the team there, and he's not sulking after getting knocked out of that game. He's dancing with the team with his crutches on.
Yep.
And you know, he's the poster child for getting ridiculed for dumb decisions. Oh, that looks like Jameis Winston out there. But he's got a ton of talent, so hopefully he can get back. I mean, obviously it seems like
it's
a serious, significant injury.
Yep.
But hopefully he can come back at some point and get back in the NFL and take over a team again. But the Saints didn't need that in this game. They beat Tampa Bay without their starting quarterback for most of this game. 36-27 was the final score. Now, Simeon, 159 yards, a touchdown. But with those numbers, you're like, okay, so they just could not win that game. They had the lead. They gave it up late. Tom Brady coughed it away. I mean, it's one of those head-scratching games where if you didn't watch it and see it develop, you wouldn't believe that it happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had two pretty bad interceptions, right? Got the strip sack fumble when he was hit and thrown. I mean, you don't see Brady make those mistakes a lot,
right?
But hey, this came back to the same old thing we like. And again, this is the only flaw in Tom Brady's game, in my opinion, right now at this point of his career. I mean, and we know he can't scramble or make plays off schedule that way, but from the get-go, he was jumpy in this game. And that's because the Saints are one of the few teams in football that can overpower a little bit the Buccaneers' offensive line.
Is that what it is?
That's, to me, what it comes down to. They have a defensive line that can can get pressure on Brady without being too over blitzy, right? They have a defensive line that can slow down Fournette and company and not be overpowered and still play. We're going to play pass defense. We're going to put a lot of pressure on our front seven. They can slow down this run game and not bludgeon us like they do other teams, because that's where Tampa's shown another level of football, ass kickingness this year, is where they can just go, oh, you're playing pass defense. Well, we'll just smash it down your throat. We'll be patient with the run game. And are you going to 8 yards, 10 yards and take that? At some point, defenses go, damn, we can't. They're just going to keep going down the field, and then they crush you with all their other stuff. The Saints don't have to do that. They're well coached, as far as creativity. They got size and physicality on their D-line. They're deep on the D-line, so they can send waves of people. And then the last piece of this puzzle is why they beat Brady, or why they give the Bucs trouble. They have good cover guys. So therefore, too, they can we're going to play man-to-man and have our safeties come down and play this route, and this safety's going to play this route or double this guy, right? Does that make sense what I'm trying to explain there?
Right.
Lattimore can match up with Evans. He's been extremely good covering him his whole career. And then you talk about Paulson Adebo, who was one of my top rookies, as cover corner. P.J. Williams, a good cover player. Bradley Roby being added to the mix. And, Gardner Johnson, let alone with pretty good safeties, and 43 and Jenkins, and you go, well, damn, that defense got some talent. They got physicality, cover guys, and scheme, and that's why they give the Buccaneers some issues.
So I don't know if we've looked at it, the graphic of Tom Brady versus the Saints, and then everyone else. 1-3
it's crazy.
Versus the Saints now in the last two seasons with Tampa Bay, 20-4 versus everyone else. And Andrew Stroman kind of asked the question that you just answered, but is there anything that other teams can take away here, or do you need that personnel that New Orleans has?
Well, to me, we've only seen two teams really be able to do it so far that jump out to me, just right off the top of my head, at least this year, all right? And that is the Rams and Saints. The Rams, I didn't know if they could do it because the Rams are not necessarily big like the Saints are up front, but their speed gave the Bucs issues. The Saints are one of the few size teams that seems to still be able to go, usually Bucs offensive line, you're good against size people, but we're just sizier than you, and we're going to move you. That's a new word.
You just invented that one.
Just invented
Sizier.
Sizier.
I think that's a good one. That could stick.
But I think that's what I look at more than anything. Again, like the Patriots tried this formula a few weeks ago. They're just not quite as talented up front, so they couldn't pressure Brady, right? But they tried to do the same type of play. Like, we're going to play pass defense. We're going to put a little pressure on our D-line to slow down the run game. But they couldn't slow it down enough. They're not as good as that Saints front to slow it down quite the way the Saints could. The Saints got it into a game of, like, Bruce Arians and Leftwich were basically like, screw the run game. We're not going to be able to run it on these guys today. And it became an all-pass game, and now Dennis Allen gets to be creative, and their D-line gets to tee off a little bit.
Buccaneers go down. New Orleans does it again to them. They get the victory there. And it was another backup quarterback in our game of the week, Sunday night football, Cowboys versus Vikings. No Dak Prescott. He was on the sideline in a very tall hat. It was like Tom Amansky and that, Fred McGriff, in
the old what was that
baseball
called?
Video. Yeah, Tom Amansky's.
I know, but what was it called? I know that was great.
Yeah,
and Fred McGriff never could put the hat on his head. You were
just
like
sitting on his head, barely sitting on his head, with very tall.
Teach kids the skills of baseball. What the hell was that called?
Tom Amansky, the school
I know it was Tom Amansky, but
baseball skills video.
Yeah, there was some other name to it though. But good job. That was our age group, right?
That was right in. I mean, Fred looked and he pointed at you, and he was like, "You need to learn the basics.
You need to learn how to swing a bat,
and you can play like me for as many years as I did."
Yeah.
But with Dak on the sideline, looking like Fred McGriff, Cooper Rush came in the game. And Jake Cood 13 says, damn okay for the Dallas Cowboys. Win without Dak. Win off the arm of Cooper Rush, who throws for 325, and the defense holding Minnesota to 278 total yards.
Yeah.
1 for 13 on third downs. Jake Cood, good job of summing up this game, because that was basically it.
That was it, Jake Cood. Jake Cood 13, you killed it right there. I mean, listen, I think the first thing he says there that we got is the defense. The defense is what I'd like to go to more than anything. Yeah, I mean, I know Cooper Rush was real good. I get that. But the defense being able to slow down Dalvin Cook in that running game, and then, man, anytime I looked up, again, Minnesota's offense is not reinventing the wheel in creative schematics. So when they can't run the ball, their bootleg play action game, which is also pretty basic too, it's just not good enough to stand on its own. And, again, I got to watch the film, but I can just tell you, because it's an NBC game, and we're sitting here in NBC studios, and I can see the sky cam and the regular cam. I can watch it all, and I'm just telling you, there wasn't people open. It wasn't like Kirk Cousins was dropping back, and I was sitting there going, wow, he's playing poor. He's missing people. Dallas's defense just continues to get better and better. Randy freaking Gregory. I mean, wow, does he pop a lot. Their defensive tackle plays good. Michael Parsons is insane. Vander Esch, of course, just athletic as he is, he was perfect for this game. Oh, it's zone. It's outside zone with Dalvin Cook. Oh, no, it's not. They're running the bootlegs. Let me run back and stop the crosser who's running behind me. And he was there to do that. So they were really well coached and schooled up on how to play Minnesota. They won the physical battle on that side of the ball. And then when you switch over to the other side of the ball with Dallas's offense, and this is where I'm mad. I picked Dallas to win the game, and then when Dak was out, I went, I'm going to take Minnesota to win a close one. I thought they'd maybe win by, field goal, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing, and to me, the biggest aspect of the game is Minnesota had to overplay the run game of Dallas so hard that they knew they were so overmatched that they didn't find ways to cheat 8 and 9 guys down in the box, that they were going to get smashed, that it just, again, I'm not trying to take away from Cooper Rush. Just go back and watch the highlights of the game for the most part. I mean, the plays they couldn't be more basic. It was like, hey, Johnny, go down there and run a 12-yard button hook. And it's like, well, it's man-to-man on a crappy corner, and they can't cover CD and Amari Cooper.
First of all, my name is Amari, I don't know where.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the plays were as basic as it gets. I give him credit for being tough, overcoming some adversity, of course, the clutchness in the last drive. But they just said, wait, we'll run the ball enough just to continue to get them to be playing man-to-man. And those corners out there in Minnesota, their secondary is not good in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's so not a good run defense, and then no good. So there you go. And this is, if you're watching on YouTube
or Peacock,
look at the pass chart. It explains my point. It's just like, wait, they didn't throw the ball in the middle of the field, right? And again, this is where I think a lot of teams mess up with like rookie quarterbacks or backup quarterbacks. Throwing down the middle of the field is disaster area. If you can run the ball and you got one-on-one matchups, this makes it real clean and easy.
Yeah.
And he just played CD's better than Breland. Amari Cooper's better than Dantzler. CD's better than Dantzler. Amari's better than Breland. I'll just throw to them. Curl route, slant route, little out route. I mean, that's all it was. But to me, that's really what dictated the game, and good job by Cooper Rush and just hanging in there, especially after a bad interception early and, getting killed on that strip sack fumble. The way to hang in there and come out and win the football game. Dallas is real. I don't know what else to say to anybody.
Yeah.
People keep going, how good is Dallas? I go, Dallas can win the Super Bowl. They are one of the best teams in football. As good as that offense is, and the defense continues to go in the right direction, and DeMarcus Lawrence isn't back yet, so watch out when he's back. And if they can get their other rookie corner who they drafted in the second round, Joseph from Kentucky, they get him playing in 2 to add one more body in the secondary, sure. I'd say watch out. But Dallas is the real deal. They can compete with all the big boys in football. There's no doubt about that.
Staying on the defensive side, and we talked about the rookie quarterbacks, and maybe Mac Jones is the most impressive so far, even though he doesn't have the wow factor.
Yeah.
Not that they've played poorly, but a lot of those quarterbacks are in tough situations, and so maybe they haven't been the most impressive.
Right.
Micah Parsons on the defensive side, he had a game-high 11 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, quarterback hit, 2 quarterback pressures. Has he been the best rookie player, period?
You're right. I've thought about this the other day, just as I was kind of sitting around bullshitting and watching football stuff.
Jamar Chase has been good.
That to me that's the conversation. I think that it just right there. Am I missing anybody else, Pete, that's in that category?
Penei Sewell's been up and down.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, he's not going to be in that category. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else we're missing that's been kind of that freak show. I don't think so. Patrick Surtain's been phenomenal in Denver. Pete says that. There's no doubt he has been really good, definitely. But no, I think these two stand above the rest. Michael Parsons is like. Forget rookie of the year, whatever. I mean, Michael Parsons is one of the best defensive players in football already, period. Like, it's period. Like, he's in the conversation for one of the best linebackers in the game. What he did earlier in the year at defense end. Yeah, so to me, him and Jamar Chase have clearly dominated the rookie conversation.
Yeah, big win for Dallas in a game that gave us a wheel of fortune before and after. You know that. You're familiar with that, right? Yeah. It's like before and after. So we got Amari Cooper Rush. Amari Cooper and then Cooper Rush. It's the first time in NFL history you've had a TD where the passer's first name is an exact match to the receiver's last name. But this is even crazier.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Buckle up. The Dallas Cowboys also have the only pass touchdown where the passer's last name and the receiver's first name were an exact match as well. So they have like the opposite, but they have the only one of those either. And that came in Week 11 of last year, Andy Dalton to Dalton Schultz. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
Whoever looked that up from NFL research is, I mean, I don't know who thought of that.
Dive.
That's a deep dive.
That is a deep dive.
And to go
I was so messed up with the Cooper stuff last night on the Peacock show after.
Yeah.
Because we had a package of Cooper Kupp coming on as well later in the show.
Yeah.
I called Cooper Rush like Cooper Kupp twice early on in the show. And it really pissed me off.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off. It was a low quarterback rating for me.
You were right off the top of the show. You don't like to make that mistake.
It wasn't like at the top, but it was like a little like 5 minutes in. Now we're getting into this conversation, and I called Cooper Rush Cooper Kupp twice. Really pissed me off.
Cooper's becoming it's my son's name. Very popular.
I know it is.
Now it's my son. At first I thought I was giving my son like a original kind of newish name.
Yeah.
Now it's everywhere.
I see. I do see it a lot, and I can't wait till your kid plays sports because we can go cool.
Right, and call him Cooper Kupp maybe if he has a big game. All right, so that's a big win for the Dallas Cowboys. And another backup quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Got a victory. This one, not as impressive because it did come against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but still 31-7. Some good things for Geno Smith. Only 4 incomplete passes the entire game, 20 of 24, 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 pass, 1 rush, no interceptions, completed his first 14 passes. So and I watched you on the Peacock show.
Yeah.
Seattle identified that Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are pretty good.
Whoa.
And they should feed them.
I mean, did I have fun with that last week or not?
Yeah.
I mean, again, that to me was like, that's the theme of the game. I mean, they're the 2 best players on your team. And it's like they've phased them off the team the last few weeks since Geno came the starter. Like, all right, let's make it harder on us. We got a backup in, and now we're going to be even more conservative and not give the ball to the best players on our team. That's how we think we'll win. It made no sense to me. So that to me from get-go yesterday just looked like their point of emphasis to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive side of the ball and get those two guys the football. Yes, and that's all it took. Again, it was a Jaguars team that just is overwhelmed. That's kind of the way I thought it would play out a little bit. I thought Seattle would win the game just because, again, it's not easy to play there. Seattle's defense, even though not great, does a lot of different stuff. So if you're a young quarterback, it's a little annoying and can be flustering that way. Of course, they're pissed off and in a desperate situation, Seattle, so that adds to that too. And, yes, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, the offense, Jacksonville, they seem completely overwhelmed almost from the get-go in this football game. And Seattle took a hold of the game early on, and it was one of those where it's like, wait, you dominated, and you're up 17-0, and look, you've taken advantage of it, and now they have to play a game they don't want to play.
No.
Seattle didn't have to worry about run defense at all in the second half. They got to play all their crazy drop out. We got 7 guys in the line of scrimmage. We're all dropping out and playing pass coverage, and it played right into their hands, and good job, good victory for them. Good job by Geno Smith.
Yeah, it hurt Jacksonville that they lost James Robinson early in the game, end of the first quarter.
Yeah, that was big. What was it?
Like a foot heel, some sort of a heel injury.
Is that what it was?
We'll have to. I haven't seen anything up. There might be something out now as you're listening to this podcast. But Hawk Astrologer says, "Love the pod, Chris and Ahmed. Did you see enough to have any new hope for the Seahawks playoff chances here? I can't tell how much we beat the Jags versus how much they beat themselves."
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, again, I think it was a good win. And I said earlier in the week, I don't think it was like necessarily. I thought Jacksonville was every bit as talented as Seattle. Now
you still think that? Less so
maybe
now.
less so. But I don't think it's far off. Again, talent doesn't mean you're NFL ready, battle tested, know how to handle situations on the road. That's two different stories. Again, that's two different stories. So, as much as it was a butt whooping there, yeah, everything was going right, and it was still 14-0 with 20 seconds left in the first half. It wasn't like it was like, oh my gosh, they're clearly more talented and dominating them. But I do have hope from this standpoint. I mean, if they can just weather the storm a little bit, continue to find the 2 receivers and get them the ball. Their defense did show last year that it can improve as the year goes on, and they can become more sound. They're going to have to kind of find that kind of magic once again, and if they cannot be totally out of this by the time Russell Wilson get back, yeah, I give them a fighting chance. Mm-hmm. I don't really think they're a playoff team this year. I know I've said that before, but I'm not going to count out Pete Carroll and company in the way a lot of those players, the DNA they have up there, I do love that about them. They fight. They're ready to always fight. They play hard as hell, and I respect that about them.
You know who you can't count out either?
What?
Staying in that division?
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers.
No.
They get the victory. Big victory for them. In a game that it looked like maybe they would let slip away in Chicago. Always tough, I think, for West Coast teams playing in cold weather, playing on the East Coast, although Chicago's not on the East Coast. But Soldier Field, I mean, that's just a tough place to play for any team traveling. They get the comeback victory, 33-22, the final score. And I think the turning point in this game.
Yeah, say it.
They were down 16-9.
Right.
3rd and 20.
3rd and 20. And
deep
you're going,
in their
oh,
own
my
end.
gosh. Right.
Huge play down to the 1 on that screen to Deebo Samuel.
Shanahan special.
83-yard play. Jimmy G was able to punch it in with a run on a broken play. It looked like just a couple of plays later.
Right.
But Deebo Samuel, with a team that hasn't had George Kittle, has had so many running back injuries. You thought maybe Trey Lance could give him some big playability. He's been hurt too, didn't play in the game. Deebo Samuel, you talk about important to a team's success. He now has 819 receiving yards, the most in 49ers history in the first 7 games of a season. That breaks Hall of Famer Jerry Rice's record set back in 1986. Without Deebo Samuel, the 49ers are not where they are.
Absolutely not.
Now.
You're exactly right. Way to put it out there. That's the banner statement. You're exactly right. And Deebo Samuel, I don't know why, but nobody wants to really put him in the top receiver in football conversation. He's right there. He does it a little different way. It's not like, he's outside beating one-on-one coverage and, he's not running slants and slant goes and back shoulders like some of the other good receivers like Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams are doing, to where you just go, oh, wow. No, they use him in a different way. But it doesn't matter. He does things that a lot of other receivers can't do too. And again, it's a lot of what we saw there yesterday. Of course we know he runs over the middle and can break tackles and can accelerate from 0 to 60 as fast as anybody at the position in all of football, but he's just a weapon. And to me, weapons are in the conversation for the best receivers in football. I mean, he's dangerous. That was a huge moment in the football game. The game was managed and played perfectly by the Chicago Bears. Perfectly. It was Justin Fields, I thought, his best game of the year. It really was. Against that defense, that's still a good defense with the 49ers. He just made a lot of nice throws. Few great scrambles. They had one or two quarterback design runs for him. They ran the ball the right way. The Bears played the right way.
Do you make anything of the fact that Matt Nagy was not there?
Well,
and Justin Fields had his best game?
To me, they're always better when Matt Nagy's not calling the plays. Every time he comes off duty and they give the calls to Bill Lazor, I go, well, at least there's an identity here. So I don't want to say that, again, but either way, I was really impressed with that. But to your broader point, hey, the 49ers defense is still good. They had trouble stopping the run game. Bears, I felt like did a good job of being in 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6 a lot of the game. Fields was good with decision making, made a lot of nice smooth throws. So they kept them on the field. They chewed up clock. But Shanahan had some great answers, some great design plays. Jimmy Garoppolo hung in there, made a lot of tough, tight throws, I think, throughout the game. And, don't count the 49ers out. Don't. People are again, let's not forget, they've been a little banged up. If they can just keep one of these running backs healthy, all they need is one. If Elijah Mitchell can just stay healthy, and then we get George Kittle back here in a few weeks, or maybe this week, it's getting close, it's going to change their football team. And then, like I said, the defense is solid too, but that was a big win. Yeah, they were facing down the gun barrel there. What was that screenplay? Late 3rd, early 4th quarter? When is that exactly?
3rd, yeah.
3rd?
But down 7, deep in your own end, 3rd and 20. It's like you're thinking punt there. If Chicago can go down, get a field goal.
Right, or they're going to chew up more clock, and it's just going to put it tighter on you that way. I mean, it was and
it got the ball rolling.
Win.
It seemed like Kyle got into a rhythm
after
here
that.
because the next time with the ball, Jimmy G was carving him up. Elijah Mitchell with a touchdown. They got the 2-point conversion to Ayuk there, and then Fields did come back with that amazing 4th and 1 run where it was a 22-yard run, but Pete notes here he ran almost 60 yards.
It was insane,
on
that play. Insane.
He's fun to watch.
He is.
Justin Fields, really the things he can do well.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch.
No doubt. He's definitely, he's got a gear that, most quarterbacks don't have, and that's where he's special. He really is. But
despite that, Shanahan kept him in the groove there.
Shanahan got going, and the run game got going. That's really what killed it in the 4th quarter. Or at least the 3rd into the 4th, I felt like, wow, they're starting to wear down the Bears' defense a little bit. You started to see Elijah Mitchell running through some big holes, and big win for them.
Yep.
Because that was a desperate situation for the Bears too. 49ers, I think, out of all the teams in the NFC that are not in the playoffs right now, again, we got Carolina as the 7 seed right now at 4-4. Mm-hmm. If they were to play the 49ers, I would take the 49ers to win that game matchup right 100%. Now, right? Minnesota's the 8 seed. I'm taking the 49ers to win that game.
Yep.
Atlanta's same record as the 49ers. I'm taking the 49ers to win that game.
100%.
So I still look at, to me, as San Francisco as definitely one of the 7 best teams in the NFC. They're not full strength. They've had a few issues. They've blown a few games. Don't sleep on them. It's not over yet. They're going to have their say here.
Still some positive signs for Chicago, including perhaps our favorite Halloween costume of all of them.
Hold on. I just saw something that we got to talk about. Okay.
We'll get to it soon. Pete already knows what you're going to do here, but I've led perfectly to a costume. Before we get to the serious thing that Chris wants to talk about here.
2 rockets off his ass.
2 rockets. 2 rockets up the rear.
Woo! Yep. That is a great. I was so impressed with how many players yesterday, dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah.
I really was. Throughout the league. I would be that'd be the last thing on my mind on a Sunday for an NFL game if I was a quarterback. If somebody was like, well, what are you going to wear tomorrow? I'd be like, fuck you. I got a game. I'm not really worried about it.
It did seem like strange. There's so many.
But it was cool. I give a lot of respect to the players for diving into that.
It's a game. Have some fun. You only get one life. Might as well have fun with it.
That's true too.
Do you want to go to the thing you were about to talk about?
I saw it.
Okay,
just
hold on.
Scouring the internet real quick, just in between as you were talking.
You go, I want to make sure nothing big has happened. So, breaking news. We have breaking news on the pod. Just before we're about to talk about the game.
Yes.
Rams defeat the Texans 38-22. The Rams, great defense, right? Aaron Donald. You got Jalen Ramsey. You got some studs.
Floyd.
You got another stud.
What?
Per Adam Schefter.
What?
The Broncos finalizing a trade to send Von Miller to the Rams for second and third round picks in the 2022 draft. Broncos paying $9 million of Miller's remaining $9.7 million salary. Now, Miller's hurt right now.
I know. I thought he was going to be done for the year after the way it looked on Thursday night, but he was never.
Apparently
last week he was questionable and, part of light practice, I think, I want to say.
So he's close to coming back.
Yeah.
All right. So talk about the team that didn't need him. Or maybe they did. What do you think?
I mean, the first thing I wanted to go, the first thing I'm seeing it, first off, I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. I love the Rams. That's why I love the Rams. Again, I mean, I feel like we say this almost every year. The Rams, I love their, let's push it all in the middle of the pile. We think we're going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
I love that aspect. The second thing I thought of is like second and third round picks in the 2022 draft. I wanted to be like, do they still have those picks? I mean, I feel like they trade away every pick they have.
I agree.
That's where I was like, they're
growing. They're growing new picks. They're spawning new picks.
Oh my gosh!
Trade
but
away.
Unbelievable for a defense that's star powered, not incredibly deep, but this just adds to a whole nother level of disruption and creativity that Raheem Morris and McVay are going to be able to infuse into this defensive line and defensive front. That's where they're good. I know we've broken them down before where it can be like, their front four can get there, but they can also blitz two, have two drop, and you don't know who's coming. Leonard Floyd's as good as coverage and as most coverage linebackers are in football. Von Miller is really good in coverage, let alone they can rush the passer. So I just look at this and go, wow. Like, wow. And he might not be able to play for a week or two, but who cares?
He might make his debut, though, Sunday Night Football versus Tennessee.
That would be awesome.
That's what we're hearing at this early juncture. So now knowing that Von Miller was out there, available for a trade, who should have done this deal? Rams did it.
Well, the rumors were out here that Von was definitely a trade rumor or target.
Yeah.
I look at it, of course.
Who missed the boat?
Well, Baltimore's a team I looked at that could have used a pass rusher. They're gonna want to trade the teams in the NFC for the most part, right? I mean, I would think so. And as I look through that, the Packers, of course. The Packers, I'm not going to say that. Za'Darius, it sounds like, is coming back. For Rashawn Gary, he has really played well, so I'm not going to go all in on that one there.
A second and a third is pretty hefty.
Pretty heavy. I mean, Dallas, again, they don't
some
have to.
There's probably some
They are a Super Bowl team to where maybe, but I don't know. I can't sit here and look at any team that's like towards the top of the NFC and go, oh, wow, they needed him, right? Cardinals can maybe be. Pete, that's a good question, no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. But they probably a little bit like, man, we got Chandler Jones. He wants more money. Marcus Golden's playing well. They didn't want to upset that. I don't know. Either way, I'm amazed that they got the trade. And, wow, I mean, it's a defense that's just been playing better and better the last few weeks, and this is just going to add, another angle to the whole thing right now.
Rams now will have a third, fifth, and 2 seventh-round picks in the 2022 draft. Trade them. Why do they even have those?
Why just go hang out at the beach and sip Mai Tais during the draft this year?
This game, 38-0 until Houston came back, which is part of the reason why I stopped gambling for the most part. Because
right?
I'm like, I was like, that makes no sense. It's like you think you have an easy victory, and then all of a sudden Houston comes back, and depending on the point total that you got, it's like, oh, you might have lost that one all of a sudden. Which is crazy to think because it was all Rams, all Stafford, all Cooper Kupp. Once again, Cooper Kupp is the first wide receiver with 10-plus receiving touchdowns in his team's first 8 games of a season since Kelvin Johnson in 2011, also with
Matthew Stafford.
How about that?
Yeah, that's what Stafford does.
Stafford does.
Eat that, all you Stafford haters.
Yep. And now Cooper Kupp will leave the Rams in somewhat of a hostile situation, just like
Well,
Kelvin
to your
Johnson.
point, I made this game one of my best bets of the week. Now, I had it at 14.5 for the Thursday pick spot, so I got it. But, like, I know a lot. I think it was at 16 yesterday, right?
By the time kickoff happened,
right?
Yeah,
That's scary,
like
maybe. You said. I mean, that's the ass whooping. I don't know what else you want me to say. I mean, yeah. I mean, the Rams are on a different level. The Rams, when healthy, are, they're one of the best teams in football. In fact, I think they're the best team in football. I've kind of been saying that the last few weeks. There was 2 bad quarters against the Cardinals. Other than that, they've kind of outplayed everybody else in football all year long.
Significantly, too.
Significantly.
It's like not even close.
Blowing teams out. Right. Like not even letting you hang around. Defense makes plays. They make you earn it. Offense, they can beat you whatever way they want to. And that's where they're dangerous, too. They can run the ball. Oh, you're taking Cooper Kupp away. Big deal. We got a bunch of other receivers we'll throw to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add McVay's creativity. And then you add Stafford's talent to that. Like, Stafford on the big bomb to Van Jefferson is one of the plays I showed last night as, like, my throws of the day. Like, again, I know when he catches the ball, it looks like, oh, wow, he was open. Good job by them. But, like, when he's throwing that ball, the safety was 25 yards deep. Van Jefferson was still behind the safety and not open yet. Like, there's only a few quarterbacks in football that are going to really see that and then go, wait, I could throw it out there far enough to where my guy will outrun that, and he'll be open by the time he catches it.
Yeah, let me throw it 60 yards out there.
Throws it 60 yards, flick of the wrist. And that's where, to me, they're just amazing because they've shown every aspect of how to win a game, play offense. And, of course, we know the defense is super talented, and now you add Von Miller. Holy shit balls. Yeah. I'm blanking right now. I know I picked Rams-Browns in the Super Bowl. Did I pick the Rams to win or the Browns to win? I can't even remember what I picked. I hope the Rams, too.
For your sake.
I can't remember.
Pete says Browns.
I did say the Browns.
You're in
trouble.
Damn it. You're in trouble.
I am in trouble.
You're in trouble. Our friends over at PointsBet, they got the MVP odds right now. Matthew Stafford is currently tied for second with Tom Brady and Kyler Murray. Josh Allen, still number one, plus 350.
I'm a little surprised,
I am a little surprised, right? So let's go to their game. The Bills beat the Dolphins 26-11. Ugly first half, 3 points in the first half for Buffalo.
They were outplayed. Miami outplayed Buffalo yesterday. They're not better than Buffalo. They outplayed Buffalo yesterday.
For the whole game or just the first?
For the most part,
half?
But they just screwed up like 4 or 5 plays, and just that was the difference in the game. They had their asses on the ropes. Missed field goals. Going to go up 6-3 at the half. You're sitting there in, this 15-yard line. You snap the ball into the guy going in the motion. I mean, yes, it was not an impressive game by Buffalo by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sorry to cut you off there, man. I just got excited.
No, so, I mean, that's the whole discussion on this game. I mean, maybe it's one of those games where if you are Buffalo and you have all these expectations, and they were coming off a bye, too?
Yeah, right. Coming off the bye, lost to Tennessee before the bye.
Expected to come out of the bye a little bit.
Two things, I think,
more
jump
of
out.
An edge.
They had to play Vrabel, and now they play Flores.
Yeah.
They run the New England offense. So that's one thing I go, well, I know. I'm going to take that into account. Like Vrabel and Brian Flores are going to know Brian Daboll about as well as anybody in the sport. So they're going to know how they want to attack. But it was Strugglesville for the Bills offense yesterday. I mean, Strugglesville. And Allen, that to our point with like PointsBet right here and him being the leader of the MVP, like I understand it because they're going to ride him and he's just going to throw and he's going to be the leading rusher and he's going to make plays. But for my money on that list there, I'm going Stafford or Kyler Murray still. I know the Cardinals lost, but again, I don't think Rondale Moore is going to touch a punt back in his own area or drop or Kyler Murray's going to rifle some screen pass to him. Like that's them messing up. I'm not going to sit there and go, well, I just think different of Arizona now. Yeah. I know Green Bay played that game perfectly and all that, but to the point of Buffalo, I'm surprised that Allen is still such a significant leader, really. I mean, a significant leader on the PointsBet odds. He's awesome. You know that. But this brings me back to my point of, like, they need another guy on offense. They need another guy on offense. Mm-hmm. I know people think, like, I keep trying to tell people because I hear too many of, like, the Bills' offense has weapons. Like what? Who tells you that they're so weapons galore? Like what? Who?
Stephon Diggs, but that connection
Diggs is the only one,
and that connection hasn't been the same this year.
No, it has not. You know, I think teams, of course, they were good, so they've studied how Buffalo wants to use him. Mm-hmm. And they also look at it and go, wait, he's the only guy that can really screw us over and ruin our game. He's the only guy on their offense that can go 60, 70 yards, right? Yeah, Beasley had a good day, but like, okay, it's once every 5-6 weeks. Yippity-doo, okay? That's where they need something else. Emmanuel Sanders, as I've said many times, there's a reason he's on his third team for 3 years. Teams weren't like, oh, he's so awesome, but we'll let him go. He's good. He rounds out your offense. Right, 4 targets, 0 yards for him yesterday. To me, they need another element on that offense. I know there's been talk about Giants trading Evan Ingram up there maybe. You know, that would be interesting. You know, I've said all along, if I'm Buffalo, I'm calling the Browns and trying to get Odell and do something of that. You know, they, to me, need to make a move like the Rams a little bit. You're in the window. They're really good. I think they could use one more stud on the offensive side of the ball, and that would change their football team. We'll see. But, yeah, that was not like a win yesterday that makes me feel, warm and cozy about the Bills.
Yeah, unlike the Week 2 win over Miami that was 35-0. If that would happen this past week, we'd be thinking a whole lot differently. Dolphins, they have troubles. We've talked about it. We'll probably continue to talk about that. But let's get to Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. We got 3 more games here. We'll start with the Broncos now. Von Miller-less. They did get the win over Washington 17-10. Your headline for this one? Oh, no.
No, hold on. I got it.
Yeah,
all right.
You got it. Just think.
Who blew it less?
Okay.
Who blew it?
The kicker. That was easy.
I want to say so many other funny things here, but who blew it less? Nobody wanted to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, Washington, what is it? 3 blocked field goals in 2 weeks. 2 yesterday. One in a big moment, right, in the fourth quarter when it was 10-10, and they kind of were controlling the game, and you're thinking, okay, they're going to go up 13-10 and put the pressure on it. Blocked field goal. What happens? Broncos go down and score a touchdown and go up 17-10. So that was a 10-point swing right there, basically for the Broncos. Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, I'm kind of just like, bleh. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, but here's the thing. Denver's 4-4 now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not out of it.
No.
You got 7 teams who are making the playoffs, but they just traded Von Miller.
I know. Because
would you be upset if you were a Broncos fan?
I don't think I would be. I think
you would not be if you were a Broncos fan.
I think the bigger picture is like, all right, Broncos, you're not going to the Super Bowl. You're not. You're not going there. I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter if you got Von Miller or not. That's not happening. And they've got a second and third round pick for next year to kind of build their football team. I understand the thought process. I think everything's going to be a struggle for Denver all year long. They played a Washington football team with Taylor Heineke where, like, hey, Taylor Heineke he's just good enough to get you beat in a close game every week. That's what he does, But, yeah, Washington, it's just defense is solid, but not as special as we would have thought. Offense for Washington, they seem to move the ball but never really make the plays to, put themselves over the edge to win football games when they got to play a good defense. And Denver, I don't know how to feel about them. Yeah, Denver's well coached on defense and has some things they like, but I don't think it's an elite defense. And offensively, it's good to see Jerry Jeudy back and all that, but I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is bringing you to the promised land anytime soon.
Plug and play 16. Hey, Chris and Ahmed, just a quick damn okay for Patrick Surtain, the second in the Broncos win. You talked about him a little bit.
Yeah.
You like what you've seen.
Well, he's phenomenal. That's one where if I could take back my rank, I know I had Caleb Farley number 1, and I think I had Surtain 3. Surtain clearly should have been. I don't want to say clearly because the Tyson Campbell kid in Jacksonville is really damn good too. But he's 2. Surtain's really phenomenal. Like, really understands the game, has more explosiveness than I think I gave him credit for at Alabama, and just been like definitely one of the bright rookies of the year for sure. No doubt about that.
Panthers have a whole lot of young talent on the defensive side. They get the win over the Falcons, 19-13 the final score. Your headline there is?
Cats always eat birds.
Okay. Easy enough.
I mean, this is what happens. Cats eat birds. That's what happens. Like nothing sexy here.
No.
Well, what did the Panthers do? They basically said, we're not going to let Sam Darnold mess this game up. We're going to run the ball almost every play, the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, including with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, including who got himself concussed, like stupidly. Like, come on. You can't let defenders, linebackers like Oluwaquan have a shot like that on you. But I think the thing I come back to, Ahmed, is, Pittsburgh kind of Panthers took kind of approach Pittsburgh did. Wait, let's manage our quarterback. Let's not let him screw the game. Let's run the ball. Let's play through our defense. And, yeah, it might be ugly, but maybe 19-10 is the way we're supposed to win football games, or 19-13. And that, to me, I think it makes a lot of sense, at least to the offense kind of gets its bearings straight. Maybe the Christian McCaffrey can get back and help them out a little bit. But I just give them a lot of credit for hanging tough with the running game. Chuba Hubbard looked good. And, the defense just clearly steamrolled the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, Matt Ryan was getting crushed. Their offense really never looked like it had a chance all day long to do anything other than maybe they'll be able to make a play to Pitts or Cordero Patterson. Other than that, there was nothing going on.
They did a good job covering Kyle Pitts. 6 targets, just 2 catches, 13 yards. Stephon Gilmore was in this game. Interception, his first game.
Yeah, good for him.
Since the trade from the Patriots, and he was over Pitts a few times there, so a good game plan. The Panthers' defense, that's a playoff unit.
They're a playoff defense, exactly right. They had a few weeks where, they let up a few good few plays here and there, but first off, you run the ball for 203 yards, and you have that defense, you're going to be hard to beat. And, again, I think we hit on this last week, but I'm going to hit it on it one more time. Their 4 losses in a row, their defense certainly played good enough for them to win all those games. The Eagles, the Vikings, the Giants. The Vikings game I can look at and go, okay, it wasn't their best. But, still let their offense hang around to make a few late drives in the game to tie the game and send it to overtime. So I think this is what they got to kind of do going forward here is just play through the defense, be very careful what you do with Sam Darnold, who might not even be able to play this week. He took such a big hit.
So your last headline, Cats always eat birds. How do you explain this one?
Oh.
Eagles defeat the Lions 44-6.
I lied. Eagles eat Lions. Yeah. No, this one I got. How about, I don't know if you saw this week with Nick Sirianni, so it's a little play on this. But
so where you talked about the flower.
The flower,
team's like a
the
flower.
roots.
It's
right.
not pretty at first, but you're building
bring your
the
water
roots.
out to practice, and you water the roots, and they're going to grow
Water
underground, and it's going to help grow this beautiful flower,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So that's where we're going with the Scott's Turf Builder.
Oh, that's your headline.
Scott's Turf Builder, right? Got to have a little fertilizer on the ground.
There it is.
Got to have it
Got
right
a picture
there.
of it. Thanks, Kristen.
Yep. And,
All in one.
They dominated with
Boston Scott.
their run game and Boston Scott.
60 yards, 2 touchdowns for Scott, but yeah, it wasn't just him.
No, it was a what I loved about it was they showed some creativity in the run game. They went all in on the run game in this one. I think this is another team that kind of said, wait, what do we got at quarterback? Why are we trying to think he's going to drop back and dice people up with his right arm in the passing game? That's not what he is. Let's use him to what he is. Let's use his running ability. Yeah, we know he'll scramble, but let's add to our run game in general and put people in a bind that way. So between that and then their defense, and of course we know your Lions football team just got nothing to offer on the offensive side of the ball.
No.
Between Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift are the only people on the offense that are capable of doing anything remotely special. After that, it's just a lot of guys. And they were severely overmatched in the football game. Excuse me as I'm burping. And once they got down, you just know that your Lions team can't come back because it's Jared Goff, and there's just not a lot of weapons on that pass offense altogether. But the Scott's Turf Builder, that was a good one. I got to give Pete DeMilettis credit there. I mean, I know you haven't seen Billy Madison.
I have not.
You need to see Nick Sirianni's press conference and then watch Billy Madison. Because it was like, Billy, why did you draw a blue duck? Well, I've never seen a blue duck before, and I always wondered what a blue duck would look like. So I drew a blue duck. That's what his planting the flower in the ground analogy sounded like.
And then they go, we're all dumber now.
We're all dumber forever.
Listen to that.
Thank you, and God have mercy on your soul.
Pete wants to nickname who? Boston Scott now the Fertilizer? Is that
the
what
fertilizer.
You want to? I like that,
That's
right?
great. Yeah, I'm sure he'll love that. Yeah.
The Fertilizer.
You're a fertilizer, Mr. Scott.
J.O. says, damn okay. Eagles running game. Yes, it was the Lions. Sorry,
it's
Ahmed,
okay.
But the Eagles finally committed to the run, and it worked there. You're right. And good win for the Eagles. And for the Lions, yeah, it was one of those games where it was all right, they could win this one.
Yeah.
And they had their worst performance.
The Eagles looked like they
the
changed their approach a little bit after a few defensive players complaining last week, too, about being just a little too conservative. they are a little bit, let's play pass defense and let's not let up a big play and put a lot of pressure on our D-line. And I felt like yesterday they got in the face of Detroit a little bit. And we're like, no, screw you. We're not going to give you an inch on anything. And made them play with a different style and I think ferociousness on that side of the ball.
Cats always eat birds, except when they don't.
Except when the Eagles are here.
That was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. Final thing, Monday Night Football. Points bets got the odds for this one. It is New York at Kansas City. 10.5 is the spread.
Scary,
the over-under is
scary,
52.
Yeah. It's a scary line. I mean, 10.5. Like, listen, I think that the Giants can keep this close. But the thing with Kansas City is, the game could be 27-20 with 4 minutes left, and all of a sudden you lose 34-20 or you lose 37-20. That's where it's hard to bet on them. Mm-hmm. I think the Giants match up with them pretty well, though. They're well coached in the secondary. I think they're going to be all over some of the Kansas City stuff. The one thing Mahomes has are no great pass rushers on the Giants. Maybe he can hang in the pocket. That's been the issue with him. I broke that down last week on the podcast. Worst game he ever played. So that's not the best for the Giants because you're going to get Mahomes pissed off, ready, ultra-focused. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. But if the Giants are healthy on the offensive side of the ball tonight, they're going to pose problems to the Kansas City Chiefs. Pete, where are we at with, I think Kadarius Toney's playing, right? Where are we at with Galladay and Saquon Barkley? What's the latest there? Because to me, that plays into this too.
I don't think either are supposed to play.
I don't think either are. I just wanted to make sure. But if they get Kadarius back, that'll help out. And if Sterling Shepard's out there, and then Darius Slayton.
Toney expected to play. Shepard expected to play. Galladay out. Barkley out.
All right. That stinks as far as Barkley being out. I would have loved them to have one of those guys because then you could really put Kansas City in the bind of we got to be worried about the run game and Daniel Jones with the read option run off of that. Now we got to play man-to-man, and we're in trouble. But I think I'm going to say the Giants keep it close. I picked Kansas City to win 30-24, but I don't think it'll be pretty, and I do think they pose some problems for them. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to watch a little Monday Night Football with my boy Philip, who, is
Michael Jordan.
Well, he's being psychologically tortured by Mahomes and the Chiefs this year. It's
tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
This is what you got to go through as a fan.
Dad, is he ever going to be the same?
And you go, no, he's not.
No.
Conspiracy theories.
Find a new quarterback.
All right, you'll talk about that game perhaps Wednesday with
Yep.
Paul. He's back with you here. I'm going to be in San Diego for the Breeders' Cup, some horse racing, and then I'm taking some time there with my wife, our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So
congrats, man.
I'll be there for a little bit.
Way to go.
So, we made it to 10.
What are you guys doing? What are you going to do for the anniversary?
I don't know, hanging out in San Diego for a little while.
That's a great spot
She's
to hang out.
She's going to fly out there
Beautiful
a few days
weather.
after I get out there. Yeah,
Beautiful landscape.
Good landscape. We'll find something to do.
I love San Diego. To me, it's one of the best underrated cities. And what is that, the Red Light District or whatever they have downtown?
I don't know about that. What is that? What?
Red Lamp District?
I think that's something completely different.
Red Light District might be like the Netherlands, right?
If I end up at the Red Light District, it'll be our last.
No, look it up before we go.
It's
Gas Lamp District. Gas lamps can be red.
I'm going to go to my wife. I'm going to go, Kathleen, hey,
happy 10th anniversary.
Chris said to go to the Red Light District. I was like,
happy anniversary, 10 years. There's a burlesque down the road.
Chris said to do it. He said, it's not my fault.
Oh, she already doesn't like me, probably.
That's true.
All right. That's true. All right. Peace out, everybody. Ahmed, you the man.
We did
Congrats, 10 years.
Yep,
Kick some butt in the horse racing.
Yep.
I went with Stiletto Boy. He's going to win.
Oh, okay.
Mark it down.
All right, interesting.
Mark it down.
I haven't really handicapped it yet,
I have no idea why.
Stiletto Boy's
I like
in
the
the
names.
mix.
And one of the names was like Knicks Go or Go Knicks.
Knicks Go's probably the
Knicks
favorite.
don't go anywhere, so I can't go behind that. And I heard he's the favorite. So.
He is the favorite.
All right, so peace out. Everybody check out Ahmed on the Breeders' Cup Classic this week. He'll be killing it, kicking butt. Then he's going to be kissing his wife for a while. We'll see him back after that. Yeah. Everybody be good. Send in questions. Wednesday, What the F*** Happened podcast. We're going to break it down, get into all the good stuff that happened this past week in the NFL. Peace out. Chris Sims, Unbuttoned, presented by Under Armour. Clap it up.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.